Alright, this video that I'm making is on the Big Bang Theory, and I want to start out by sharing just a little bit of knowledge about how we understand that the universe is expanding. And it's not very complex, it's pretty easy to understand, so I hope I can convey it in a way that doesn't make me seem retarded. We can look at a star, and we use parallax. I'm not going to describe parallax because it'll take too long and I want to kind of hurry through this. We look at a star, we use parallax, we can tell how far the star is away by trigonometry and using parallax. Then we do a light spectra analysis of the star. Sounds technical, and it is, but it's not. It's really simple to do. You look at a star, and by doing a light spectra analysis, it's like the DNA of the star. It's on point. It will tell us exactly what the star is burning and what it's fusing. And then we know at how bright that star should be. At that distance, that star burning those elements should be this bright. So when we look at it and we see that it's not, that it's actually has a longer wavelength, we know that it's redshifted, or that it's moving away from us, because light propagates, light travels as a wave. It has particle wave duality, and when it travels, as all things do, it travels in the way of a wave. So in the same way that sound has a Doppler effect, light has its own type of Doppler effect. We've all experienced it with sound. It's every day when a car drives by and it goes, that's the Doppler effect. As the sound source is moving towards you, the wavelength's getting shorter, and as it passes you, the wavelength is being stretched of the sound, so the sound source is moving away. That's the only thing that has to do with it. It doesn't matter where you're at and whatever. It just matters that the source is moving towards you. It's shrinking the wavelength. As it passes you and moves away, it's lengthening the wavelength. Light does the same thing. If we look at a light source and we know that it should be this bright at this distance, and it's redshifted, it's moved towards, on the light spectrum, the part of it called color is what we can see with our human eye. Towards the longer wavelength side, we see red, and towards the shorter wavelength side, we see blue and purple. So if the light source is redshifted, if the wavelength is longer than it should be, or more stretched out, then we know that that light source is moving away from us. And when Hubble looked through his telescope up at the heavens, that's what he saw. He saw that everything, well, not everything, but most everything in the universe was moving away from us, that it was redshifted. One of the ways that this was proven later on was that they used theory, mathematical framework and theoretical framework to come up with the Big Bang Theory, but one of the proofs that the universe at some time was closer together was if that was a reality, then there should be a uniform temperature or a uniform radiation from a time when the universe communicated with itself, when the whole universe was small enough that it had communicated, light traveled back and forth across the whole thing, and as it expanded, that temperature should still be around, and it's called, and it was proven, it's cosmic background radiation. The entire universe has kind of a uniform temperature that's real low because it's been a long time. So that was a proof that at some point in our past the universe was together. Now, what this has shown and what's been revealed by science is that there was a beginning. There was a beginning to space and time. There's a misconception with the Big Bang Theory that it was this explosion out in space, and boom, big explosion, matter flew out, things coalesced, became us. This is a misconception because it wasn't in space. It was the explosion, it was the spark of space and time. So it was the beginning. All of the universe, all 13 billion years, or whatever it is that you believe, all together into one infinitesimally small singularity, a point so small that mathematics breaks down, a point so small that an atom is a billion times bigger than it, you know, it's infinitesimally small. All of the universe, but the key thing here is space and time. Space-time is one substance. We move through space, and that's what causes us to move through time, because they're the same thing. It's called space-time. This is the beginning of space-time. And why this is so relevant to somebody who believes in the Bible is because the Bible requires a beginning. The very first words in the Bible are, "In the beginning God created." So without a beginning, the Bible is irrelevant. But this scientific revelation, what this scientific advancement revealed, and what nature has revealed to us, is that there was a beginning. And not just a beginning, but the beginning that is required by the Bible. I mean, that sounds ludicrous, but it's the truth. The God of the Bible requires a beginning of space and time because he has to be outside of it. So the very fact that what nature has revealed to us is that space and time at one point were together in nothingness, not in space, black space. There was no space. This is the spark of space and time. Shows that there's something outside of that that sparked it. Now, Atheism would have you believe that this theory disproves God because it shows how the beginning came to be. But that's not the truth. There's no proving or disproving God because he's out of our nature. It's an impossibility. But what it does show is that space and time had a beginning. And because the Bible, the God of the Bible, an omnipresent intellect who we believe created the universe and made the laws of physics, required a beginning of space and time because he had to be outside of it. This is what science has revealed to us, that there was a beginning, that there is something outside of that because we couldn't have come from nothing. It's an impossibility. We had to come from something. Now, other people might say, well, what about God? He had to have a beginning. That's not something I am concerned with. I believe in a God who is eternal, the same way that maybe they believed in a universe that was eternal. I don't believe I'll ever be proven wrong, but it's not my place to do so. The only thing that's required for my worldview to be accepted is that we needed to prove that there was a beginning to space and time in order for my God to be outside of it. And that's what science has revealed. I don't need to prove that God is eternal. I know that he is. If you want to disprove the God that I believe in, then you need to prove that he's not eternal. I don't have any work to do there. I'm done there. But what I have work in doing is understanding and believing what's been revealed. And what's been revealed is that there was a beginner. It's extremely important if you believe in God, and especially the God of the Bible, because like I said, he requires a beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Those are the words of the Bible. If there was no beginning, there couldn't be that God. So I'm not saying this is proof of God, because that's not proof of God. It's only proof of a beginning. But you have to come to your own conclusions and make your own worldview and decide what you believe. And what this leaves us with, and what it left me with, was hanging here thinking there's a beginning. That's the truth. That's what science reveals. I understand the process of what they used. I understand how they came to this conclusion. So I have faith that it's real based on knowledge. What does it mean? And that's what I'm asking you to think about for yourself. What does a beginning mean? What does it mean? If you don't care, then you don't care. It's not a big deal, and that's fine. But if you do care, what does it mean? What does it point to? What does it show? And I think that it will bring you along in your worldview, and I hope that it's been insightful and not complete confusion. Yeah, that's it.